So what's do next? In 2005, we organized a workshop. We had some established contacts with, in particular, to New Hampshire, and mainly the open ocean aquaculture engineering community was quite spread. So we organized a workshop here in Tórshavn. We call it the Tórshavn Network. There's a web page there, and the Dassos Institute involved in the first workshop. And since then, in particular, the SINTEF in Norway, University of New Hampshire, and US Naval Academy have been, and also the University of Iceland have been quite active in that cooperation. But through that network, we also contacted other institutes, which were worldwide. Mainly through the, in the US, there's a program called Open Ocean Aquaculture Engineering, which started in 1997, which completed last year. And now they're about to start a new one with activities both in the Mexican Gulf and the Pacific. And it seems also the Canadian will be a very strong partner there.
3 minutes.
And they also cooperation to Korea. The Trondheim community have quite a lot of cooperation with Vietnam. We do in New Hampshire, they have an open site, open ocean test site, 4 nautical miles out of the coast of the Bay of Maine. That's the submerged cages of this type. See, that's not that big. One problem is that it's quite diving commanding. Need quite a lot of diving. And also the cages are not that big, 4,000 or 5,000 cubic meter compared to close to 20,000 cubic meter commercial. They also tested other types. This is from New Hampshire. A Norwegian company done a similar type of cages, like this one. And if you look at the surface, it's just a small tower coming up. Looks very good. But the problem is the size, and it's quite demanding. You need another logistics to serve that type of cages. The Norwegian, they run a called the Talistruct project. That's close to half billion Norwegian kroner research project of next 8 years. This like net like this, swimming around, more like spaceships, and from time to time, when it's needed, they will couple up to this space station here. The perspective of this type of projects is 20 to 30 years from now, when they get operated. The problem is, if that's just follow the current, you get the same oxygen problems like you have in traditional cages. If you start to anchor them, you get the same type of problems as with traditional cages also. They will move away from the cage. The net will move with the currents, reduce the volume inside the cage. And let's take a local perspective again. This is show the currents in the Faroes. This is the maximum tidal currents, a part of that. Notice in the first slide I show, we have harsh wave conditions. See here, it's relatively strong currents. If we anchor them, we got the same problems with reduced volume. And we need, going offshore, we need larger vessels, a new type of logistic. Also something with the crew members to stay on board. And also we put, it's difficult to keep control of the sickness disease, of sickness in fjords. It will even worse to keep control in open ocean. Particularly, we had to take in mind that most likely it will be large units. And in Faroes, we most likely also have conflict with the fishery. This is the line fishing, the yellow ones. The other colors are troll stations. And inside here is all the coastal fishing fleet. Where should we go in the Faroes without somebody says, I've been here before you? Other option is to look at the channels with relatively strong currents, highly ventilated channels, let's call it, with almost no waves. We go in open oceans with both waves and currents. Here we have stronger waves, but no stronger currents, but no waves. We know the logistics. We can use exactly the same as today, but the requirement is that we had to develop a new generation of cages where we are able to control the flow coming into the cages. And particularly the Canadians are doing quite a lot of good proposals there. So the options we have, there's still quite a lot of room to optimize the present-day fish farming. And as a continuation of that, we develop cages for coastal, high ventilated areas. And in a little bit longer perspective, we can consider to develop a new open ocean fish farm industry. But particularly last part, it needs huge investments. So thank you very much for your attention.